Okay, you guys voted and you wanted us to clean the kitchen today. So my kitchen is not as horrible as it usually would be. I'd actually say the bathroom is worse. So I'm gonna record both and then I'll post the bathroom next week for you guys. It's not like as terrible as it could have been. I just expected you guys to kind of pick the bathroom. So all good, not a problem. We are gonna get on this. So it rained last night, so there's a lot of mud and stuff. So this is gonna be great for the floors. Our dog was like tracking it in and out. So let's get moving. Start with decluttering. So just putting anything away that either doesn't belong there or goes to another room. Things that need to be cleaned, I'm just gonna pop in the sink. I'm always picking up dirty dishes throughout my cleaning so that when I get to the point, I can actually just wash them all at one time instead of having to walk around the kitchen and kind of pick everything up. So I just place them in the sink until I'm ready to get there. And I try to keep like a towel bin in my laundry room. This way, kind of when I use rags or other things, they always end up in there. Okay. Everything is decluttered, so anything that was like kind of out but needed to go to its actual location or needed to go to another room is moved, so we can go ahead and start actually cleaning. You have a 2-level house and you are decluttering in any room in the home. If you have something that needs to go upstairs or downstairs, depending on where you're cleaning, I'm currently cleaning downstairs, and this stuff is in the kitchen, needs to go upstairs, so I always just put it on the stairs, so when I go to head up afterward, I can go put it away so I don't get distracted by something along the way upstairs in my office. Okay, so when cleaning anything in the house, we always want to start top to bottom. So in the kitchen, I'm just gonna start dusting these cabinets. If you've seen that hack video that I have, I think it's like day 5 of the 31-day home hack challenge. I talk about getting dusting up there. So if you want to check that out and kind of figure out how to do that, if you've got those sorts of cabinets, I would highly recommend that. So I'm gonna just go ahead and start top to bottom. I'm just dusting everything. You have a fridge that has an opening. Make sure you are dusting and cleaning up here as well. There's definitely stuff that gets trapped up there. Getting to your blinds and you're just kind of getting ready to dust them, you can do this. You can push them all so they're going one direction and then use your duster to go upward, if that's the direction that they're currently going. This way you don't have to dust each individual one. I also have some hacks on my page using tongs to actually clean the blinds. I'm not actually cleaning them right now. I'm just doing a little bit of dusting because we're going to be doing more of a deep clean on the blinds during our spring cleaning segment. So again, that just kind of helps you dust them as a collective without having to go in each individual one. It's also really important to dust first before you start your actual cleaning. And again, this can also be like a horsehair or I'm not sure what the other kind is, but like basically a brush attachment on your vacuum, which you can also use instead of a duster if you're gonna do that. So what I'm talking about is just like a brush attachment. You can also use that. Make sure you're cleaning under your tables as well. Look at all that. And I clean this every week. So just think about how much dust you actually really get in your house. We're gonna start, like I said, top to bottom. So we're gonna start with the microwave. And we're gonna go ahead and just kind of clean all the appliances. That's something that I would kind of get through first. Take a microwave safe bowl, fill it with water, and then put lemon juice. I don't have an actual lemon this time, so I'm just gonna use like the juice of like this stuff. You can also add a little bit of vinegar if you have a bad microwave, so just distilled white vinegar. I'm gonna pop that in the microwave. I'm gonna put that in there for, I don't know, let's say 2 minutes. Basically what I want it to do is steam up in there so it'll kind of loosen up all the gunk that's in the microwave and we'll be able to just wipe it off without scrubbing. Okay, I'm gonna take this out. Just remember it's hot, so be careful. So I'm gonna remove the plate actually first, I'm sorry. Remove this. Okay, so now that we've loosened everything up, I wanna dip my sponge in the water of the stuff that just came out of the fridge. And then remember, it's gonna be hot, so be careful. Squeeze it out. This will just kind of help you wipe all this stuff right away. I'm hoping you can see that. I might bring it closer. So this just basically requires like no scrubbing then. So it loosens all the gunk up. So easy, look at that. That was way easier than probably scrubbing the whole thing. Do the same with the door. Again, really no need to scrub. You just kind of wipe it right off and it goes. But again, if you have like a little spot, looks like maybe that one. You can. This basically just steamed everything. The lemon and the vinegar kind of reacted and helped us really get rid of everything really quickly and just helped us get rid of everything and melt it all away. So that microwave is good to go on the inside. So you can take that plate that we took off earlier, wipe everything off it. You can also go ahead and wash it. I am gonna go wash it 1 second. All right, so I washed that and that is all clean and can be replaced. Go. So you are all good to go. Now we want to clean the outside, but with stainless steel, we don't want to just go in right with like the cleaner or conditioner that they kind of tell us on. It's typically like a conditioner and it needs to be wiped off. This is the same with leather. So wiping off any sort of gunk that's actually on it first is like super important. As you can see, like we want to wipe off this stuff. I usually just kind of use like a wet rag. You could use a very mild cleaner, but just basically anything that will get rid of like gunk, debris, fingerprints, etc. before you start using all the like stainless steel cleaners and stuff. A lot of those are just kind of more of like a conditioner at that point. So we definitely want to be like removing all this gunk. Next, I'm going to use this stainless steel. Again, it's a cleaner and polish, but I always try to wipe off some of the gunk first like we just did. So we want to use this stuff on a microfiber rag. The microfiber will help not scratch the stainless steel. I find it works better than like a regular rag. Plus it helps kind of work in the stuff. And with stainless steel, it's really important to go with the grain. So you can kind of see how these lines are going sideways. That's the grain. So we want to clean on stainless steel the same direction. For the actual glass portion of the door on the exterior, I like to use like a glass cleaner, a Windex glass cleaner or something like that. Or you can use like rubbing alcohol, something that would clean glass like that, but wouldn't leave it kind of streaky. Okay, so now the microwave is all nice and clean, yay. Let's get to the stovetop. We are going to do a bit more of a deep clean because I want to be able to take off some of these coils and stuff. This may not be something that you would need to do every week. Maybe you could just go ahead and wipe it down each week, etc. This is more so you can see each of the pieces. We're going to take everything off. However, I would always recommend at least taking off this part and these. So when you actually do clean, it's not like pushing all this gunk around and you're just kind of missing a point. I'm going to go ahead and take these off. Ooh, set them off to the side. And depending on what kind of stove you have, I don't know why I always want to call it an oven. Anyways, depending on what kind of stove you have, you may have like a glass top or one of these where I've kind of got coil things. If you have the glass and the coil, they are a little bit different in cleaning. I'm going to use kind of the same products. You would basically just need to ensure that you're using the one that went with your stove. So something you could do to kind of get rid of all this gunk that you're seeing up in here is to take like a vacuum. Make sure you have one of these that are clean so that you're not like taking floor stuff and putting it on a place where you eat. So I'm gonna just go ahead and vacuum up all these little kind of gunky pieces, and that way we can get started. I went ahead and just kind of got rid of most of the debris and the dust and stuff that was on there. And then this way it'll make it a little bit easier to clean. Like I said, this is a similar idea to dusting. You could also go ahead and just dust this, which actually this might be a scenario where that may be a bit better. Again, I'm just kind of flinging everything onto the floor because I clean top down. So once we get to the floor, everything will be there and it won't really matter. So we haven't really gotten there yet, so it doesn't particularly matter. If you had a glass cooktop, this is something I used to use on mine. It comes in a pack. I've got it in that Amazon kitchen favorite list, and it actually comes with like a scraper thing. If you buy it on that Amazon, it comes with that razor scraper. This way you would be able to kind of remove any of that burnt on food like they show in the picture. I no longer have a glass top stove, which I did in the previous apartments. I'm gonna use Barkeeper's Friend though right now. Again, this could be used on a glass top or one of these or whatever kind of works for you. I'm gonna take a rag and just rub it in. I'm not actually using this to like clean yet. I'm just kind of using it to actually get the product like around the thing, around the stovetop. was really just spreading the product around along the stovetop, so I'm not actually scrubbing it in there yet. I'm really just trying to get it so I didn't have to spray like a ridiculous amount in all the areas. I'm gonna let that sit for about 10 minutes and we're gonna go ahead and clean the coils for now. I'm gonna start cleaning these as well as like the burner pieces. So you can actually wash these in your sink. I live in a rental home and it doesn't really look like they have been maintained for a long time. There's kind of pieces missing off it. I guess chipping would be the better word. I am just gonna go ahead and kind of wipe them down instead. I don't really want to chip any of like the paint or the polish on them. But like I said, you could totally put them in the sink, wash them. Again, kind of depending on what yours look like. I'm just gonna move through and wipe these down. And I'm honestly just using a little bit of water, just warm water. You could add a little bit of cleaner. These ones honestly weren't that bad or that dirty, but I wanted to kind of show you. So I just basically scrubbed them down a little. The brush was basically doing the exfoliating portion of it. So I'm gonna dry everything out and I am going to finish cleaning the stovetop. I am ready to start cleaning off some of this Barkeeper's Friend we put on. Again, if you have a glass stovetop, really try not to use anything super abrasive. You could use a softer sponge. If you need to, you can use a sponge with a little bit of grip, but be very careful because the glass will especially scratch. I got this sponge a little damp. Again, this is the same sponge I was using for the microwave and the oven, so it doesn't really matter. I don't really have anything stuck on, so I'm just kind of wiping it down. Since I don't really have anything scrubbed on here, I don't necessarily need this aggressive of a sponge. So I just have a softer sponge, a little damp too, in case that works a little bit better for me. And I'm basically just using this to work through it, clean the product off. Barkeeper's Friend can be used in a lot of different areas, but it always needs to be rinsed off regardless of where you use it. In the bathtub, in the kitchen, stainless steel, etc. I've basically scrubbed it in or scrubbed it any of the sections. Like I said, there really wasn't anything stuck on here. Sometimes there is, and other times there isn't. So now I'm just using a wet rag and I'm trying to actually essentially rinse off the Barkeeper's Friend off of it. So this is just removing the actual product from the stovetop. Now that everything has actually cleaned off, I'm gonna take a clean dry rag and just wipe it all down. If you have a glass stovetop too, you would be able to use a little bit of glass cleaner at this point. That will really help it make it shine. I'm also gonna use just a dash of glass cleaner just to kind of get rid of some of that gunk that's sitting on there, and that will remove some of that fog. Look how shiny it is. I am gonna go ahead and put these back on. Portions are dry. I'm going to put them back on as well. These could actually even use a little bit of that Windex or glass cleaner since they actually look a little foggy. So I'm going to do that. Awesome, so the bottom portion is clean. So let's go ahead and clean up top. We talked about with the microwave, we want to be able to wipe down our stainless steel with a little bit of a wet rag. Before I moved in here, somebody must have scratched this with a sponge or a scrub brush. I'm not really sure. So be really careful. Your stainless steel will scratch. So trying to use very soft and easy products on it. I'm coming back in with the stainless steel cleaner. And just like with the microwave, we're going with the grain, just with any stainless steel appliance. And we don't want to use too much, and we always want to wipe off the gunk first with a wet rag. This is more of a polish, I'd say, than a cleaner. So definitely make sure you wipe everything. With the screen, I like to use a little bit of a glass cleaner. I think this kind of makes it shine a bit more. That part is all good. Let's get to the bottom. So I have no reason to actually clean inside my oven. I don't really use it that often, and honestly, I just made a video on it on my page. So if you are looking to get some tips on that, watch the full video because I haven't used it, so it hasn't gotten dirty. So we're just gonna clean the outside of the oven, and I will go over some tips from here. So we're gonna wanna get underneath those buttons as well. So I'm gonna show you some tips on that. So all the other stainless, again, we want to wipe it down first and get rid of all of the gunk before we use any sort of stainless steel cleaner. So I'm just gonna wipe all this down first before I move the buttons. You can actually take these little buttons off, or if you don't want to do that, which I personally don't like taking the buttons off, I think it's annoying, you can take a rag, and here's a little tip, slide it between the buttons and just clean like this, and it will get both sides up. Making sure you're getting kind of all this dust that gets stuck between the doors as well. Look at all that. Ooh. All right, that one's done. Again, there was nothing super exciting about that, so I kind of just skipped it. So I just did the fridge and the dishwasher. Same exact process that I did with the stove and the microwave, so just go ahead and go back if you didn't get to see that, but no need for you to watch it again. I got all the appliances. Now we're gonna move on to the sink. I'm gonna clean the dishes real quick, and then I'll come back and we'll show you how to clean the sink. Finish with the dishes. I'm gonna take everything off so we can get to the sink. So I like to wipe my sink down with some dish soap first, just to get any sort of gunk off. Some people may say this is unnecessary, but this is stuff I like to take first. I also have one of these that comes out of the drain and it catches food. I don't really have anything in it because I didn't clean anything super nasty, but you can go ahead and rinse that out. Just gonna use a wet rag to rinse off this sort of stuff. Okay, doesn't really need to be perfect because we're gonna go on with the barkeeper's friend. Barkeeper's friend is great for stainless steel. Can also be used on like your bathtub, things like that. We also use it earlier on the stove. So again, just let this now sit for about 10 minutes and we'll come back and rinse it off. I have these little OXO scrub brushes. They're like tiny little things. These are awesome for getting in sections like in here of the, these are great for like getting in between the tiny little sections of the sink. This side also works really well, especially if you have corners. Our previous sink had like really tight square corners. This one doesn't really, but this was awesome in the tiny little corners. So this is great, like back here, and it comes in this 2-pack, so there's 2 different sizes. But perfect for like this. Look at that. Ugh. In 10 minutes. If it dries on too long, it kind of becomes like foggy is how I want to say. So I usually, after I've like put it on and I'm starting to like rinse it off, I like to make sure I'm either like rubbing it with my hand, the sponge, or like a rag in order to kind of keep it so it doesn't like sit on there. I'm not really sure. Okay, so once you've rinsed everything, you're gonna be able to take a dry rag, go ahead and dry down the whole sink. Okay, so once you're dry, we are gonna grab a little bit of a paper towel and use this Barkeeper's Friend again to essentially buff. So just a tiny bit, there we go, literally like nothing. And we're just gonna use it to buff a little bit. And it's gonna make the sink super shiny. And there you go. Fresh and clean sink. So when cleaning the cabinets, I'm gonna fill a bucket with warm water and then just a couple drops of dish soap. I have wood cabinets, so this will be best for mine. I'm using a microfiber cloth and I'm just gonna get it fairly damp, so I'm gonna squeeze it out really well. I'm gonna wipe it on the cabinets and then I'm gonna follow up with a dry cloth. When you have wood cabinets, you really wanna keep them dry. If I had some serious damage to them, I would be able to use some vinegar, but I don't have that much stainage and the acidity can be bad for the wood, so be careful. Okay, so when I'm cleaning the cabinets, I'm just gonna use this cloth. I'm gonna wipe it. Like I said, I want it to be barely wet. That was probably way too wet. And I just wanna wipe it a bit. And then I wanna follow immediately with a dry cloth. I don't wanna let this water soak in. It will ruin the cabinets, so just making sure you're wiping and cleaning them quickly and then drying them off. Go ahead and get to the cabinets. This is the second to last thing I do. This is once I've gotten everything else cleaned in the kitchen. So I'm using this granite gold. I have granite countertops. It also works on stone, so my backsplash is also stone, so it's also great for that. You can on backsplashes also use like a bit of Dawn dish soap, kind of the same stuff we used on the cabinets. You could use Dawn dish soap with a little bit of warm water. Or depending on what kind of material your backsplash is, you can find some products for it. As I mentioned earlier, since we're cleaning top down, you can just fling stuff on the ground. Don't worry about it. We're gonna go back through and vacuum and mop and all that, so it doesn't really matter. Make sure you're moving things out of your way so you're not just cleaning around the stuff that you already have. So I'm moving these, making sure I'm also wiping those down as well. Okay, and then make sure you're wiping down your chair legs, your table legs, any of those sorts of things as well. This is something that people sometimes forget, as well as underneath your table. All right, we're finally at the last step. I'm gonna go ahead and use my Tinco. I had already filled it from earlier because I was cleaning something else. I'm wearing my mopping socks so I don't leave foot marks, and I am gonna go ahead and clean the floor. So this mops and vacuums at the same time. It'll pick up wet and dry messes. So this is why I'm doing it, so I don't have to vacuum and then mop. I can do it all at one time. And just like that, we are done. So obviously this was way more spread out than anyone would be utilizing their cleaning time, but I did have to skip a few things, so we can definitely go over some more deep clean tips later, but thanks for watching with me. Let me know if this was something you guys enjoyed, if you wanted to see the bathroom one as well. And just like that, we are done. So obviously this was way more spread out than anyone would be utilizing their cleaning time, but I did have to skip a few things, so we can definitely go over some more deep clean tips later, but thanks for watching with me. Let me know if this was something you guys enjoyed, if you wanted to see the bathroom one as well.